Hello. My name is Jessie and I love cooking with chicken. So today I put together a collection of chicken dishes from the grill, a one-pan dinner, a stew, a stir fry from leftover chickens, and more. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy. You would need sliced mushrooms, dry egg noodles, cooked chicken, and broccolinis. Soak noodles in warm water. Chicken broth, chili oil, oyster sauce, soy sauce, dark soy sauce, sugar. Stir-fry sauce is made. Drained noodles. Add half of the sauce into noodles. In a hot wok, add oil, red onion, broccolinis, and stir fry until charring like this. Add in the mushrooms, then cooked chicken. These are the chicken that we have from our leftovers. Add the remaining of the sauce. Now the noodles in and just stir fry everything together. And just like that, it's done. Wow, would you believe this was from a leftover meat? It's a completely brand new meal. For the ingredients, you would need 2 pounds of chicken. Right here, I'm using 2 pounds of dumplings. You could use chicken leg, chicken thighs, or whichever cut you like. 1 can of white beans, 1 small onion, 4 cloves of garlic, 1 cup of tomato sauce, half a cup of chicken broth, juice of half a lemon and zest, and about half a cup of parsley. Avocado oil. 1 small onion sliced. 2 pounds of chicken. Salt. Pepper. Red pepper flakes, optional. Minced garlic. Tomato sauce. One can of white beans, half a cup of chicken broth, and now we just stir the two combine and bring it to a boil. Cover with a lid, lower the heat to medium, and let it simmer for 5 minutes. Alright, 5 minutes is up. Let's have a peek. Wow, look at that. In only 5 minutes. Let's take the temperature of our chicken to make sure that it's cooked through. These are very small dumplings, so I'm sure it's cooked, but just to be safe, it should read at least 165. Wow, look at that. The starch from the beans really help thicken the soup up. Oh, it looks so good. Alright. Last, we're gonna add our lemon juice and lemon zest in to add some brightness to it. Gotta get every last bit of that. Okay. Alright, let's give it a mix. Oh, it smells so good, that lemon zest. Okay. I'm going to give it a taste to make sure that it has enough salt. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the heat. And I'm gonna add half of the parsley in here to infuse the flavor, and then the other half I'm gonna save it for garnish, okay? Alright, time to eat. Let's see. Some onion sauce. Just made this beautiful bread. Look at this, guys. So we're gonna eat it with the stew today. Nothing is better than fresh bread. Because I made a lot for one meal, so I'm gonna prep some lunch for the next 2 days. The plastic box is for me to bring to the office, while the glass one is when I use it when I work from home. Wow, look at that. In 20 minutes, we were able to make 2 dinners and 2 lunches out of one pot. For the ingredient, we would need 3 tablespoons of red curry paste. I'm putting it in 3 different dishes because I'm going to use the 3 tablespoons in 3 different parts of the recipe. Next, we would need a pumpkin or this green acorn squash, 1 onion, a cup of coconut milk, a cup of chicken broth. This is my homemade chicken broth, but you're more than welcome to use store-bought as well. And last but not least, 2 pounds of chicken thighs. Before we do anything, I'm gonna put the pumpkin, or in this case, the green acorn squash, in this container and microwave it for 3 minutes. These are bone-in thighs, but I don't like the bones in my soup, so I'm gonna debone it, but I still want the skin on it. And to debone it, it's really easy. You just cut down along with the bone with a paring knife and just scoop it out. And that's it. You could use boneless, skinless chicken thigh, but we prefer to have the skin on because it just adds more flavor to the dish. So I don't mind spending a little time to take the bone off. And these bones, I usually save them to make broth later. So I have a bag in the freezer that I just kind of put all of these in, and when the bag is full, I make broth out of it. And the total weight of this was a little bit over 2 pounds, but I figure after we take the bones off, it will be 2 pounds, just like my recipe. Alright, I'm just gonna save this for broths later. We won't be using this in the recipe. Now, I would just cut the chicken thighs. I like to cut it a little bit bigger because it does shrink when we cook it, and we do want it to soak in all the curry flavor.
Let's marinate the meat.
1 tablespoon of oil. This is the first tablespoon of the curry paste. Alright, now we're gonna cut into the pumpkin. The reason why I put in the microwave before cutting it, because it's so much easier to cut once you put it in the microwave for a few minutes to soften up. Otherwise, I would be standing here for an hour trying to cut the pumpkin without cutting myself. Now it's so much easier. Also, it speed up the cooking process of the whole dish because the pumpkin gonna be cooked in minutes once we add into the curry. I'm cutting it in bigger pieces just so that it won't just fall apart and melt in the curry. Marinate the pumpkin with oil. A second tablespoon of the curry paste. Gently toss this. Lastly, I'm gonna cut the onion. Hot on high heat.
1 tablespoon of oil.
Sear the chicken, skin side down. Wow, look at all that flavor. Ooh, yummy. You want to sear about 1 minute on each side because we will be continue cooking it later. Now I'm going to move all the chicken onto one side of my pan so I can sear the pumpkin. Just adding the pumpkin. I like to pan sear the pumpkin just a little bit so it gets some firm edges on the side. And that's why later on, when we stir the curry, it won't just melt away. So you want big chunks of pumpkin in your curry, right? Or at least I do. This way the pumpkin can soak in those chicken fat. So good. Okay.
Last tablespoon of curry paste.
Chicken broth to glaze the pot. Oh, it's so good. Taking all those bits and flavor in the bottom. Put the chicken back down. Oh, I wish you guys could smell what I'm smelling right now. Spread the chicken out. Add the pumpkin back in on top. The reason why I don't want to leave the pumpkin in the bottom because it doesn't need to be in the bottom. It may get mushy, but the chicken does need to be in the bottom to cook thoroughly.
1 cup of coconut milk.
I'm gonna add half a cup of whole milk as well, but if you want to keep it dairy free, you can use 1.5 cups of coconut milk. I like the mixture of both. We'll lower the heat. Put a lid on. Put my towel over to remind me that it's hot. And while it's cooking, I'm gonna clean up. Okay, 5 minutes is up. Let's check it out. Wow, it looks so good. And it smells even better, guys. Whew. Okay, now we're gonna add in the onion. I'm adding the onion in last because I want the onion to still have some texture when we eat it. I'm gonna give it a taste to see if we need to add any more salt. Oh my god, the creaminess from the coconut milk and all the aromatics from the curry paste. It's a bit spicy, but it's not like too spicy that you can't handle it. Ooh, that little bit. Oh, and the lemongrass. My favorite herb is lemongrass, so this is perfect. Ooh, it's good. Another tip though, once you add the milk in, do not bring this to a hard boil because once you do, the milk will start to curdle. So it's always good to have it at a lower heat. Alright, so I'm gonna show you what I made earlier today to go with this dish.
Ta-da!
Alright, you could eat this over jasmine white rice, but I like to eat it with bread. Some green onion and some bread. Wow, look at this guy. Isn't that pretty and yummy looking? Now it's your turn to make and let me know how it tastes.
If you're like me and love the everything but the bagel seasoning, then this recipe is for you. An everything spatch called roasted chicken with garlic broccolinis. Yes, we roast the whole chicken for the main dish and still have time for a side dish as well. For the chicken, you need 1 tablespoon of everything but the bagel seasoning, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a tablespoon of chicken powder, 1 teaspoon of ground cayenne, 1 tablespoon of chili oil, this is optional, and of course, a 4-pound chicken. Let's mix all the dry ingredients together and put it aside. Now onto the chicken. I'm drying it inside out and trim off the extra fat so our dish won't be too greasy. To spatchcock, basically I'm butterflying the chicken flat so it would cook faster and more evenly in one single layer. With the breast side down, I'll use a pair of chicken shears to cut along each side of the backbone. Because I don't have a lot of strength, so I cut it to the thigh areas on each side and turn it around to complete the cut. But if you can do it in one cut, go for it. By the way, don't throw the backbone away. They make amazing chicken broth. And now I'll just flip it and push down to break the wishbone at the collar to flatten it. Final inspection and cleaning. Let's cut off these extra fats too. Here I'm using a pointed paring knife just to puncture the inside of the chicken, especially the thicker areas like the breast, the thighs, and the legs. This way the seasoning will absorb better and the thicker areas will cook faster. We all want to get dinner onto the table quickly, right? Every bit helps. Now with the mixture of the dry seasoning earlier, I'll evenly massage it onto the chicken in and out. Make sure every single corner gets some love, between the wings, the legs, and all. Now let's flip it over and do the same thing on the skin side. All done! We put the bird in the fridge to relax for about 2 to 24 hours. You can do this overnight, or like me, who isn't as organized, I prep this quickly in the afternoon to have it ready for dinner in 4 hours. It really takes no time to prep this when I don't have to do other talking and recording. It's time to prep for dinner now. Let me make sure the rack is on the right spot before the oven gets really hot. I usually have it on the 3rd slot, counting from the top to give the chicken some room, and preheat the oven to 375F or 190C. Let's transfer our marinated chicken onto a roasting rack. Make sure it's on a rack so the air can circulate around the chicken in the oven. Wings are my favorite part of the chicken, so I'll protect them with some aluminum foil so they won't get burned. Even though I have a rough idea of how long it would take for the size of a bird, I'll insert my thermometer in the thickest part, the breast, to monitor the internal temperature while roasting. And magically, I'll grow 2 more legs for this bird. Just kidding. I'm adding 2 extra legs here because Calvin eats only dark meat, while I love the white meat, so I'm adding just extra for him. This dish is very flexible. You can use any cut or part of the chicken if you don't want to do the whole bird. I've done it with all thighs before. I'm spraying avocado oil on the skin so it will come out crispy later. You can use a brush here if you'd like. Alrighty, into the oven at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. While waiting for the chicken, I'll prep our side dish, garlic broccolinis. 5 cloves of garlic, a bundle of broccolinis about 4 ounces, and half of a tablespoon of the everything but the bagel seasoning. That's it! 3 ingredients, guys. 3. Garlic chopped. Our local grocery store had these beautiful broccolinis and I couldn't resist. After washing the broccolinis, I'll just give them a quick peel since I'm eating the whole thing, stems and all. By peeling the outer layer of the stem like this, you get rid of the stringy, fibery texture. I just cut them in bite sizes. These stems would be so sweet with a bit of crunch. So good. Alright, it's been 30 minutes. I'll just rotate the chicken really quick so it would cook evenly for another 10 minutes. Almost done, guys. I'll take out the bird to dress it one last time and increase the temperature to 400 degrees. Let's remove the foil off so these beautiful wings can finish cooking. To add some color and spiciness, I'll brush on this homemade chili oil. If you don't have chili oil, just spray or brush another coat of cooking oil. By the way, if you're interested in a video of me making this chili oil, let me know in the comment. You see how the chili oil really makes the chicken looking good? And we all eat with our eyes first, right? Let's sprinkle about half a tablespoon of our favorite everything but the bagel seasonings. So it looks like an everything bagel, right? Back to the oven at 400 degrees for another 10 minutes or until the internal temperature is at 165. Wow, look at this. I wish you guys could smell it. Okay, we need to let it rest a little bit and use this time to put the side dish together in less than 5 minutes, guys. Heating up a medium pan with some oil. I'm using about half a tablespoon of avocado oil here. Once the oil is warm, I'm adding in the garlic and let it fry for a little to bring out the garlic flavor, but don't burn it. Now, in the broccolinis. Toss them on high heat. Make sure it's on high heat here, so it will keep the texture nice and crunchy. After about 30 seconds, I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of water for the steam to finish cooking the broccolinis. Again, we want it to still have some texture and not mushy broccolinis. Now, the heat is off. Then I'll sprinkle in half a tablespoon of the everything but the bagel seasoning. One last toss, and we are done. Our chicken is done resting. I'll transfer it to a platter, then add the broccolinis around it. Here, I'll drizzle a little bit more of the chili oil all over for additional color. And more everything but the bagel seasoning wouldn't hurt, right? It looks so good. I can't wait to dig in. For the ingredients you would need: 4 pieces of boneless chicken thighs, 8 ounces of green beans, 8 ounces of potato, 1 cup of olives with 1 tablespoon of brine liquid, half a cup of chicken broth, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic, 2 teaspoons of bruschetta seasoning, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and half a teaspoon of salt. We already have these 4 chicken thighs deboned and butterflied. I'm going to show you how to debone and butterfly it. You don't have to have a boning knife, but it's good to have. I usually would just feel the bone right here and cut really close to the bone. And then I turn around and do the same on the other side of the bone. And go underneath. Take it out like that, and you tilt it up. And that's it. You just debone the thigh. And
For this dish, I like to butterfly it so it would be thin, so it would cook faster and crispier. You see, this is the thinnest part of the chicken thigh, and these two are very thick. So I just do this all the way to the edge and kind of flip it out. That way, your chicken is at one thickness, so it would cook evenly. This side, the same thing. And now, you just stretch your piece of chicken so much bigger. See? Budget friendly and good. Alright, next we're gonna chop the olives. You can leave it whole if you want, but I like to have it more incorporate in my sauce. So I'm just gonna roughly chop it. I like to use the green olive for this because it's creamier. So you can use whatever olives you have in your fridge. I'm just gonna chop it in half, some in quarters for different sizes. You could totally use capers for this dish. I just have a jar of olives in the fridge that I really wanted to use up. Alright, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of the brine liquid in here to remind me that I need to use that for the recipe. Next is the potato. I'm gonna cut this end off. I don't need this whole potato, but I just wanted a very big potato so I can slice it. But I won't be using the whole thing. I will need only about 8 ounces. So I'm going to use this. We need about only 10 pieces of these, 5 for each of us. And the rest I'm just going to save it for a different meal. I have half a teaspoon of salt on my hands. I'm going to season only on the skin. Okay, while we have the pans on, we're gonna add about 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm gonna dab the skin to get all the moisture out from the salt. Now we're gonna put the chicken in, skin side down. That's the sound that you wanna hear. Now we're gonna season the other side of the chicken because earlier I only seasoned the skin part. Calvin said it's smelling so good. Fry this side for 2 minutes. Do not disturb the skin. Let it slowly cook and crisp up. Wow, look at that. Okay, now we're gonna fry the other side for another 2 minutes. These chicken are very thin, so it would cook really fast. And then we're gonna finish cooking it in the sauce as well. Okay, this piece was the smallest one, so it's done. So I'm gonna take it out. All right, these are done as well. Now that the chicken is removed, we don't want to waste this chicken fat, but I have lowered the heat to very low to 2 out of 9. We're gonna add in our butter. And then our potato. I'm adding the potatoes in first, just so it can soak up all the yumminess. Right, and now we're gonna add in the garlic. The trick for not burning your garlic is to use frozen garlic. These are the ones that I make from the fresh bag that I got from Costco. As soon as I get home, I chop it up, I freeze it, and in these sauce, I usually use it because it helps infusing the garlic flavor more and without burning it so fast because, you know, it's frozen. Now I'm gonna add the flour in the middle, just to create a roux. Now that the flour is cooked, we're gonna add in the chicken broth to deglaze our pan. You just wanna add enough chicken broth so the potato can submerge in it and cook. Now we're gonna add in the olive and the brine. This would bring the freshness into the dish. And I am still on low heat. I'm at a 3 out of 9. And now the bruschetta seasoning. If you don't have the bruschetta seasoning, you can add Italian seasoning as well. Just add a bit more salt and pepper, just because this seasoning has salt and pepper in it. The sauce is a bit thick for my liking, so I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of water. Just so there's enough liquid to cook the potato. So this dish is pretty much a one-pan dinner, but with protein, starch, and vegetable. All right, in goes the green beans. All right, let's cover it so the green beans can cook a little bit. Okay, that was 2 minutes. We're gonna open it. Just covering it for 2 minutes, kind of let the green beans and the potato cook together. Now we're gonna add the chicken in so it can mingle with the sauce. This is why I always buy big skillets and pans, because I like one pan dinner. Okay, and don't waste this juice. We have to add all the juice back in because that's flavor right there. Now I'm gonna bring the heat up a tiny bit, and that little chicken juice from the plate really help thin out the sauce. That's just perfect. It's done. Let's plate our dinner. Wow, look at this, guys. Isn't it gorgeous? Now it's your turn to make some at home. Boneless chicken thighs, salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, chicken marinade, and some agave. Salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, agave, lemon. By the way, guys, all of these ingredients are listed in the description box below as well. Pepper flakes. These chicken could be cooked in the oven at 375 for about 10 to 15 minutes, but wow, the weather was so nice today, so we decided to fire up the grill and grill some chicken. For these vegetables, I just cut up what we had in the fridge, which is half an onion, some baby oyster mushrooms, and a green bell pepper. I seasoned them with salt, pepper, and garlic seasoning, some olive oil, and a few slices of lemon. Wow, look at these. Oh, grill mark is so yummy. I'm also brushing some of the marinade liquid onto the chicken and the vegetables to prevent them from drying out and also add some more flavor into them. Here I am just checking to make sure the internal temperature is at least 165 since these are chicken thighs. Oh my goodness. Do you see the sunshine? It's so nice outside, and I finally got some grill time. And here I'm just serving with some potato salad in the fridge, and dinner is ready. For the ingredients, you would need 2 tablespoons of minced onion, 4 cloves of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of chicken broth, a few sprigs of basil, 2 tablespoons of Maggi sauce or soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and 5 boneless skin-on chicken thighs. Let's marinate the chicken. 2 tablespoons of Maggi sauce or soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 4 cloves of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of minced onion. You could use boneless, skinless chicken thigh if you like for this recipe. We just prefer to have the skin flavor because every time when we use boneless, skinless, the chicken get a bit dry. So we like the flavor with the skin on. Let the chicken marinate for about 20 minutes. We have some Thai basil in our fridge, but if you have regular basil, it's fine. I'm saving these for decoration. And then this, I'm just gonna cut them for topping later. And that's it. That's the only prepping that we have to do. I am adding about a tablespoon of oil. Start searing the chicken, skin side down. After searing for about a minute, I'm gonna flip the chicken. Wow, look at that. So I'm gonna sear this side for another minute too, just to get some flavor out on the pan so we can have the rice soak it up later. And this is what I meant by I like to cook with the skin on. Look at all the flavor that it gives. And if after you're done cooking with it and you don't like the taste of the skin, just throw it off. So a minute is done. I'm gonna remove the chicken and put it in a bowl. It is not done cooking yet. It will finish cooking in a bit. Look at that flavor right there. So now I'm gonna add in our tomato paste. This is the red part. And all of the bits and pieces of the chicken marinade earlier. This is like the onion and the garlic and the ketchup earlier. We're gonna put it in here. And then I'm gonna lower the heat to 5 out of 9 and just kind of sauteing to bloom the flavor of the tomato paste. Now I'm gonna add in the chicken broth. And this will deglaze the pans as well. Use the spatula to deglaze all the bits and pieces in the bottom of the pan. That's flavor right there. 1 cup of jasmine rice. You can use more rice in this recipe if you want. It's just we don't eat that much rice. So 1 cup is plenty for us. And I'm gonna add the chicken back in and let it finish cooking. I used to like to make this dish with drumsticks because it cooks fast too, but now I use chicken thighs more just because I don't like to have bones while eating. Let all the chicken juice go back in here as well. I'm gonna cover with the lid and just let it finish cooking the rice, and the chicken should be done cooking as well. So when you see it's boiling like that, I'm gonna lower the heat to low medium, like 2 out of 9, and let it steam and evaporate until the rice is cooked. All right, it looks like it's ready. Let's open it up. Wow, look at that. Woo, smells so good. Let's give the rice a taste to see if it's completely cooked. Oh my god, it's so good. Wow, chickeny is so flavorful. Wow, perfectly cooked rice. I'm like 99.9% sure that the chicken is ready, but let's just take a temperature so we have a peace of mind. 190, perfect. I'm gonna add some peppers. I'm adding the peppers now instead of earlier because I didn't want the pepper to burn. And last but not least, some basil. All right, and we're done. Wow, look at this, guys. Isn't it gorgeous? Now it's your turn to make it at home.
Okay guys, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button and come back next week for our weekly updates. See you then!